In a special broadcast in the past days, President Bola Tinubu appealed to aggrieved Nigerians to shelve the protests and come to the table of dialogue as economic recovery policies are being put in place by his administration and are already yielding results. We'll look at the concepts and actualities surrounding this development. Meanwhile, in some states, the push and pull between the governing and the governed took a turn into grievances with little connection to the ongoing protest. It is, however, encouraging to note that peace and tranquility are finding their ways back into these territories. We have this and more political update today. I'm Fisai Ogunfuyi. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu has called on protesting youths in the country to suspend any further protests and create room for dialogue. Addressing the protests in a special broadcast to Nigerians, the president said rather than shut out the oxygen of economic recovery that the policies of the administration are already injecting, citizens must look past their fears and embrace hope anew.
Pictures, voices and narratives in the last 4 days have been that of violent agitation and wanton destruction following the wave of protest that swept across many parts of the country.
I speak to you today with a heavy heart and sense of responsibility.
Addressing the protest in a special broadcast, President Bola Tinubu expressed sadness over the development, noting that the involvement and unfortunate death of young Nigerians, as reported in several states, along with destruction of public facilities, have all served to set the nation back.
I commiserate with the families and relations of those who have died in the protest. We must stop further bloodshed, violence and destruction. As the president of this country, I must ensure public order in line with the constitutional oath to protect the lives and property of every citizen. Our government will not stand idly by and allow a few with a clear political agenda to tear this nation apart. Under the circumstances, I hereby enjoin protesters and the organizers to suspend any further protest and create room for dialogue, which I have always acceded to at this lightest opportunity.
Against the backdrop of President Bola Tinubu's nationwide broadcast, some groups on the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, have aligned with government, saying that the president's speech reflected on the realities of the day's economy and commended the ongoing reforms under the Renewed Hope agenda, which they say is already yielding desired results.
The APC presidential campaign office came alive 14 months after the formation of the Tinubu's presidency. But 3 days into the nationwide protest, these groups believed the presidential broadcast answered too many questions and put issues in the right perspective.
I want to commend the president of our great country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the giant stride that he has achieved in the last 13 months, and again to call on our youth to please give peace a chance. To allow the presidency to properly settle down and address some of the challenges that our youth are agitating for.
There is no public outing that Asiwaju has done that he has not identified, acknowledged the suffering of the people.
Rationalizing some of the highlights from the president's speech, speakers said removal of fuel subsidy and other critical reforms were difficult decisions the government has to take, but with a long-term impact.
That fuel subsidy has to go. But again, Mr. President has introduced more innovation into the fuel subsidy crisis.
He has just spoken our mind. And that we understand there must be hardship. And during the campaign of Asiwaju, he told us there will be hardship, no doubt. And that is a sacrifice to pay for the change we are expecting in a nation.
The groups, however, appealed to youth occupying major streets in the country to vacate and embrace dialogue for the parties concerned to broker truce and pursue a national agenda for all.
President Bola Tinubu's nationwide broadcast has been applauded as conveying the message of an emphatic democratic leader who identifies with the yearnings of his people irrespective of differences. Guests on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria, emphatic that his broadcast is also indicative of his determination to enshrine good governance.
How in the past, some Nigerian leaders had allegedly reeled out vindictive broadcasts during past protests. They say the difference is clear, as President Bola Tinubu in his broadcast is not only setting a template for sustainable dialogue and engagement, but itemized what the administration has been doing towards resetting the economy.
They should now couple up a leadership structure and take the offer for dialogue. These people, their credibility matters a lot. Will they be able to be very honest? And of course, they must be very as close to the president as possible, such that the people who are dialoguing with them know that the president will get to know the outcome of the dialogue, and if it requires certain action.
With 97% debt reduced to 68%, as well as other laudable government policies targeting increasing shared prosperity, they believe it is time for genuine protesters to call off the protests for structured engagement with government through dialogue.
Apart from the fact that a lot of money is coming into the economy in order to address developmental challenges, the president has brought the debt service to revenue from about 97% to about 68%. So essentially, rebuilding the economy means that in the interim, there will be pains. But as we go along, these pains will be relieved, will be addressed as much as possible.
This can only be done, again, through constructive engagement, and I would recommend that labor should be consciously cultivated by the federal government or vice versa, so provide platform to meet with civil society in a manner in which this good laudable vision of the president will be translated to good governance.
Has condemned what played out as organized violence, thuggery, and outright lawlessness in some parts of the country, negating the hitherto peaceful protests. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Was director of security agencies to remain resolute and stand against any individual or group of persons trying to undermine the sovereignty of the country. This was at an emergency security meeting held at the State House.
Flying flags. If you see, a lot of them are kids being pushed to do that. We're following up with those ones that are sponsoring them, those that are pushing them, because you know the flags were also made. We identified those areas and we're going to take serious action against that. The president is clear on his instructions on for us not to accept anyone that wants to disrupt the peace and tranquility of Nigeria. And we are all standing here together to show Nigerians that we're working closely, we're working together in synergy to ensure that there's peace and tranquility in Nigeria. That we have assured Mr. President.
And again, the armed forces and other heads of security agencies also reaffirmed their commitment to democratic rule in the country, as General Christopher Musa told State House correspondents.
Also the issue of coups. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. Nigeria is a democratic nation. All security agencies are here to defend democracy and make sure that democracy continues to strive. We will not accept anyone pushing or taking any action, seemingly or for whatever reason, to want to push for any change of government. Democracy is what we stand for. Democracy is what we continue to defend.
And also, the Chief of Defense Staff also affirmed the readiness of the military to be there as a backup in case of any breakdown of law and order by those protesting across the country to support the Nigeria Police Force.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Adan Wahab from the State House. It's been quite a week, in the past week, an August of demonstrations and resolutions and discussions as well. So joining us now via telephone call from Taraba is the National Coordinator of the APC Initiative for Good Governance, Ambassador Musa Mohammed Token. Thank you for joining us. I will try to get you, but it was a bit shaky, so we need to just rely on this call for this discussion. Ambassador, how is Taraba at the moment, and tell us about your experiences in the past week?
Yes, of course. Taraba State is relatively very peacefully, and the governor of the state, Dr. Abuja, addressed the protesters, and he has promised them he's going to do all he could within his own disposition of the governor, as the governor of Taraba State, to ensure that good things reach to the people. He is able to calm them down and talk to them in the manners that the people understand, and Taraba State is very, very peaceful.
All right. Before you went to Taraba, you were trying to say things about your party, your discussions, and in terms of the initiatives brought by the current administration. There's been a protest, of course. People have, voiced out their anxieties as well, and the president has indeed laid the fares in terms of moving forward. But in terms of, your interactions with the people, what has been the discussion, and how have they responded to some of these, conversations?
Actually, we are advocates of good governance, and in our midst, we have professionals and professors in various fields of discipline, most especially professors of economics, and heading by an tourist professor, Professor Prince Michael Ekupolati. We have been sitting down together, and we are relating with the grassroots, and we have told them earlier than this that the protest is a constitutional right of every individual as far as Nigerian Constitution is concerned. But we are very much concerned about the chances that some hoodlums will actually take over the protest and commit all sorts of all types of atrocities, and that was what actually happened. Meanwhile, the government policies formation and implementation, we have said it without number, that it's not something that is going to be formulated and implemented at the same time. The government have rolled out her plan for the good people of Nigeria, including the recent Presidential Economic Coordination Council, where some substantial amount of money amounting to 2 trillion is earmarked to be injected into the economy in order to leverage and mitigate the suffering of the people of Nigeria. And about 500 billion naira is earmarked for agriculture and food security. 500 billion naira is also earmarked for power and energy. 650 billion naira is earmarked for just business support. 350 billion naira is earmarked for health and welfare reasons.
Okay, we have seen some of these numbers, but in terms of the immediate impact, the government rolled out some palliatives. Are they getting to the people? You are in Taraba. What are they saying? Some have said that not all the places where these things are meant for have gone there. Perhaps some have even alleged that some have been diverted and other. Are they getting to the grassroots, especially where you are?
That is exactly the pains, because people are actually not getting to right. People are bitterly complaining that in spite of the palliative that is being rolled out, it has not yet reached their hands. But of course, I interacted with some people who actually told me they were able to have some of the palliative, being distributed by the state. But that notwithstanding, it was not adequate enough. So people are expressing their, joy and anger as well. So it does not trigger down well to the masses, and that is where the complaint is going. However, the governor have made promises to people that is putting all that is on ground to ensure that good things reach up to them, as is rolled out from the presidency.
All right. Your party has to perhaps engage more, because you made a lot of promises. So at the grassroots level, especially, so that Nigerians can feel, the impact of some of these promises that you have made. That's Ambassador Mohamed Musa Soken of the APC Good Governance Initiative. Hopefully, by the time we have our next conversation, it will be on a happier note.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now,
You're welcome.
a peaceful atmosphere is gradually returning to the ancient city of Kano after what transpired in the past week. Let's take actualities from there and then we'll return and give you more stories.
The ever-busy Kano city is now a shadow of itself on account of absence of heavy vehicular movement and human activities, largely due to the fragile peace in the state. A visit to the famous vegetable market at Enkaba in the metropolis reveals a sense of urgency, with people hastily stocking up on essentials before the 2 p.m. curfew deadline.
I came out at 8 a.m. and I'll be going back home at 2 p.m. All we want is to get everything back to normal.
For now, the 6-hour window of curfew relaxation from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. offers a glimmer of respite. However, the state government remains vigilant, closely monitoring the security landscape and poised to make further decisions on the curfew as needed. The city holds its breath, waiting for a return to normalcy.
Still at the subnational level, Governor Doyediri has advocated dialogue as the best option to address issues rather than resorting to protest or violence. The governor stated this at the weekend in Government House, Yenagua, during a media chat. Timothy Ohia was there and reports.
Fielding questions from journalists from different media organizations, the governor spoke on ongoing nationwide protests, stating that Bayelsa remained largely peaceful and secure because of the resolve of Bayelsans, particularly the youth, to key into the peaceful disposition of his administration.
For the proactive engagement before 1st of August, it didn't just happen. Out of those engagements, we dialogued, and everybody came to that inescapable conclusion that we don't need these protests. Because one, it was going to be hijacked. The genuine protesters cannot control the protest.
Responding to questions on power generation, the governor explained that his administration had commenced the process of building an independent power plant and that discussions with investors has been very fruitful. On the flood alert by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, the governor advocated that the federal government needs to do more by providing a permanent solution through building of dams to contain flood waters. On teachers, he said, a few weeks, the process to employ 960 secondary school teachers will be completed and the successful candidates will get their letters. In Yenagua, Timinepri, Ohia, NTA News.
Let's end with a story from the judiciary which says a blueprint for the promotion of efficient court service delivery models is underway. The design plan is to raise the standard of excellence in administration of justice in Nigeria.
Judiciary is often seen as the last hope of the common man and the bastion of democracy, which promotes the rule of law rather than the rule of the thumb. To achieve this, the National Judicial Institute, which is the training arm of the judiciary, brought together the supporting staff in the justice sector to be able to rub minds on ways to enhance the service delivery in the temple of justice.
This forum provides a valuable opportunity for us to explore and implement strategies that will not only streamline our operations, but also uphold the principles of justice.
The target audience for this special gathering is participants from various jurisdictions across the country, with the bid to better equip you with requisite knowledge as well as update you with evolving trends in the administration of justice.
The workshop with the team Advancing Justice Through Effective Court Services is aimed at maintaining judicial integrity in the country.
That has been Political Update today. We will continue this conversation on Friday. One of our guests, Honorable Simon Oigbo, and other perhaps even one or two from the other side of the divide as far as the protest is concerned. My name is Fisaya Ogunfuyi, urging you between now and then to play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on Nigerian Television Authority for news reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.